Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Booth, where we talk about the most random stuff known to man. Today, I'm joined with...
Jerome Archuleta.
Yes. Jerome, explain to the people what you about, who you are, and what's your background.
Well, I'm a filmmaker. I've worked multiple departments. I've also worked multiple different jobs. I also screenwrite, and, well, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, but
Yeah.
still a lot more fun than a master of one.
Yeah.
So
We actually met back in college, and we were both in film together, and we put on quite a bit of shows, quite a different few things. What was the first one that we did together? Was it
drawing a blank on that one.
Was it with the whole crew after?
I want to say it was
outside of school.
It was a crew of students outside of school up in Corrales. It was
Yeah.
a shot at
Yeah.
a gentleman who I don't like name dropping people.
Yeah.
But let's say it was an interesting shoot. The aftermath could have been handled a little bit better.
It was fun. I remember that one. That one was like really, really fun.
Yeah, it was a good shoot. But
And then we did the other one right after.
Yep.
And then did we actually have any actually in class?
No, not actually. Only one in class, and that was for my directing class that you were the camera on.
And then we were the co-DPs for that
For the other
Muted
one,
Dreams.
that was an adventure.
That one was an adventure. That one
then-
was a crazy short film.
And then we did the little mini short for one of my classes at my house.
Oh yeah,
Small hours.
dude. Yeah, I totally forgot about that one. That one was actually really fun.
It was great.
I actually still look back on that one because I think it's actually on your drive that you left at my house.
Yeah.
Because we had done that 48-hour film festival, and then you left the drive, and so I've just kind of held on to it. I texted you a few times and been like, "Yo, I still got your drive."
I know.
Yeah, I'm actually running out of storage so much. So I have like 15 terabytes of drive of like 3 different drives. They're all 5 terabytes each, and each one of them are like completely filled. And one of them is actually kind of like corrupted. So if I throw in like footage, I have no idea if it's gonna save that footage or if it's gonna corrupt all those files and then get rid of them.
That's the one you save for people who don't like you.
Very true.
I'm just kidding. It's better to win flies with honey than vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
But another fun fact, speaking of the booth as a podcast, Gabe was actually the first guest on my podcast, 100 Yards Over the Rim.
I was indeed, dude. That was fun.
We've since expanded from just the Twilight Zone. We're also doing horror movies, sci-fi movies, anthologies, and such. So we'd love to bring you back and have you react to something else. If you like.
Dude, I would love that, actually. That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, because he reacted to the very first episode of the Twilight Zone, which was a lot of fun. It was Where Is Everybody, which is kind of a perfect name for a start of a podcast.
Yeah. And, yeah, dude, man, that was so long ago. I can't even... I remember doing that podcast right in the middle of in between classes. And you're just like, yeah, come do my podcast. And we set up some mics and just started going for it. I had to watch the whole episode beforehand too.
Yeah, we just set it up on the projector up at CNM, and he was watching it on the big screen, which is
Did I watch it on the projector?
Yeah, you watched it on the projector. I got a really good shot of that. I'll send it to you so you can edit it in if you want.
Yeah, I would love that, actually.
Yeah.
That man. What did you think about Muted Dreams anyway? I never actually got your take on it.
I'm going to be honest. It would have been better if all heads of departments were on the same page. Mm-hmm. But as a whole, it was an interesting learning experience and a lot of fun to work with certain people. And working with the 2 leading ladies was very fun because both of them are very interesting people. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was just interesting all around. I have a lot of good memories with that shoot when we were trying to set everything up and everything was getting developed. I remember just a great chemistry with the camera department because everybody in that camera department, for my first time as a DP, it was just a lot of fun and everybody was kind of on the same page for the camera department, with the exception of the director who brought his own camera.
And now that one was a whole ball game, man. Do you ever still talk to him?
No, he's never spoken to me since.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
he
this
has
day.
never spoken to me either.
And
And I haven't heard from him in like so long.
I'm sad that that's the situation, but I do wish him very well
Yeah.
because he's a very talented man.
No, he is, dude. He can make some stuff really. He's really good at what he does. And you know, I for one wish that he would reach out more, but I mean, I also don't talk to him anymore. So, I don't know what's going on, how he's doing or anything, or even if he's still making stuff. Last I heard, I ran into one of his colleagues actually at PetSmart, and he told me that they just be writing all the time, and that he was actually going over to his house later that afternoon to go write, and I was like, oh, right on. And so and yeah, dude, it was. I don't know what he's up to, but I hope he's doing good. I genuinely do. I hope everybody that we've actually worked with in the past is actually still doing phenomenal. You
I do
know?
too, because honestly, even if the situation was less than ideal, everybody's always bringing their A game. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And especially because they want to make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got CinemaBooth. You're doing very well with that.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking to start my production company soon so I can get my anthology off the ground. And I have an anthology horror project set for 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And that I have to really, really start chewing on.
Yeah.
'Cause
Dude. And we
we've been working
can
on that for what, 3 years?
well, just about, yeah. You've been going on it for quite a minute now. I think what you need to do is just start with your pilot and let's just run it. You know, put a bare bones crew together. We don't need like a huge crew. And that was one mistake that I made with that last 48-hour film festival that we did. Way too many people. I had too many people. Too many people were trying to say what they wanted to do, and that was a lot of the big issue, honestly. And also with the whole people sabotaging my actual set because they just didn't like me. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, I walked away with a lot more experience from that shoot, and I haven't been able to even apply it since because, you know, I haven't been able to put a crew back together. And a lot of that had to do with because of how that 48-hour film festival actually went, and or because a lot of people are just busy as hell nowadays. You know, I mean,
I'm working 4 jobs. I feel you.
yeah, dude. I mean, technically, I have 3 jobs, right? And one of them I own. And so, I mean, I do editing for one job. I work event management, production side of things. So, like, outside of things, you know, I actually run and I don't run it, but I do like staging, lighting, and video for live events. And I think I really shine bright more in like the live event kind of area. And, you know, I turned into more of like from short film to social media to live events, which if you look at social media with live events, it's still kind of like one and the same.
It's a lot more flexibility, and it gives you the opportunity to learn how to improvise and adapt.
Yeah, which I'm really good at, as you mentioned earlier when we were talking off the camera.
You have a talent for pivoting.
Yeah,
And a talent for reinventing yourself.
yeah,
Which is a thing of beauty, especially in this day and age in film.
yeah, man. It is. It's so hard, especially with how the industry is going. You know, it's been so up and down, especially with like how AI is going and taking over jobs and just how it is, you know. And for a little while, I was like kind of for it, you know. But now that I've kind of seen where it's at, I think it's great for business. I think if you don't know where to start, I think it's a great tool in that area. But in terms of like VFX and working like that, that's a real big gray area for me, you know, because it's like, yeah, I could do it. I already know how to do that stuff within Blender and transpose it and composite it and everything else. But then trying to throw it back into, you know, a whole film, it comes out real, not the way I actually really want sometimes. And as to where with AI, where I've tested it, you know, because I have tested things, you know, and it does great. But then it's also like a huge water waster and it's literally destroying our planet. And I'm like, ugh. So I've been trying to do a lot more things without that. I mean, I don't ever really used it like crazy anyway, but.
Well, with AI, the way people tend to use it is one of 3 ways. Somebody either looks at it and they think, well, maybe I can use this to help me figure out a quick answer that I can't really Google on my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people do that in retail and customer service and such. I know people who work at parts stores who do that every now and then. They just look up the specific vehicle and they look for certain things. And to an extent, that can help, but at the same time, so can actually doing your research.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of movie executives, from what I've seen, they kind of treat it like a magic 8-ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do we think a Ghost Rider movie will work? Ask again later. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
maybe we can hit up Gosling. Yeah.
Did you ever watch the behind the scenes for the final season of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you see that he was actually using ChatGPT to come up with the last few episodes of the Stranger Things season finale?
I have mixed feelings about that because as a writer, ChatGPT should not be used for writing, I don't feel like. But if I were to pick any department just to play devil's advocate, to throw it into filmmaking in any way, shape, or form, give it to the 80s. Let them use it to help figure out the scheduling, help pull some weight off their shoulders as far as figuring out their call sheets, their crew times.
No, that's a great way.
But you still keep a human element to keep that in check because you don't want it to answer every single question. There was a manual 40 years ago. I think IBM was the one that produced it, and there was a quote. I'm paraphrasing because it might be inaccurate, but it was something like, "If a computer can't be held responsible, a computer should not make decisions." And
that's actually really good.
it's still very much a thing. And jumping back to the Twilight Zone really quickly, because I am very much a child of Rod Serling.
Of course you are.
In season 5, there was an episode. It was called The Brain Center at Whipple's. And it dealt with automation versus employment. And that's a thing that Hollywood executives are struggling with right now as well.
Really? That was a whole episode on the Twilight Zone?
Mm-hmm. A whole episode.
Which season?
Season 5.
Do you know which episode?
Yeah, The Brain Center at Whipple's.
Brain Center at Whipple's. Dude, I'll have to watch that.
And at one point, one of the employees is asking him how he could do this to them, how he could fire 2/3 of his workforce just to implement these robotic factory workers, these machines. And so Mr. Whipple, the company owner, he looks at them and he goes, "Let me tell you something. This machine costs 6 cents an hour. It doesn't get arthritis. It doesn't have heart disease. It doesn't suffer from any of the mechanical failings that a human does.
It don't get sick.
It doesn't get sick.
It don't call out.
It doesn't call out."
Yeah.
And that, to me, is considerably more valuable than you. And he points at the man. At the end of the episode, he's ousted as the last human element of that company. And it's run by an AI that's acting exactly like he was.
What? Mm-hmm. Yo, I mean, dude, I'm kind of scared with like how it's starting to go. I mean, have you seen like what's been coming out lately?
I'm half and half on being scared. But the thing with that is people don't realize just how prophetic that show was. 6 decades, still teaching us lessons.
Dude, seriously, I'm going to have to rewatch that. I mean, so I had ended up in the hospital, actually. That's funny that you ended up saying, getting sick or anything like that because, ooh, excuse me. I get sick every now and then. And when I do, I end up straight into the hospital. And I'm there for like a week sometimes, And one of the more recent times, actually, I had like a pneumonia. And they didn't actually know what type of pneumonia I had. And so I was there for over a week, and they had to actually do a bronchoscopy on me and actually go into my lungs. They said it was so full of gunk. Anyway, long story short, because I was there in recovery for so long, I didn't have anything really to watch. I ended up coming onto the Twilight Zone. And it was the older episodes, and I was just like, Jerome would be proud. I'm leaving this on. And I thought about you in that moment because it came on, and I was just like, yo.
And some of those episodes really stick with you, though.
Yeah, dude. The one that stuck with me the most when I was watching it, it was a episode about the dead. And so this lady lived at her house, and every now and then she would have visitors walk by.
Oh, the Civil War episode,
yes.
The passersby.
Yes.
That's an excellent one.
Yeah. And like at the end of the episode, you find out that every single one of them were all dead. and you're just like, wait.
And that she died of yellow fever.
Yeah, dude. I was like real shocked with that episode. Every single episode of like the Twilight Zone. And that's why I love that you actually made your podcast about the Twilight Zone. Because even after, still to this day, it still resonates with me every time I watch an episode of the Twilight Zone. Because it is so fundamental in every single aspect of filmmaking imaginable. And every single one is so intriguing to watch. Because you never know how it's actually going to end.
And even if you do, it's still a hell of a ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's some episodes, I'm not going to lie, you can clock the ending as soon as 5 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because they're very heavily referenced.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the William Shatner episodes, like Nightmare on 20,000 Feet, where he's a hypochondriac on an airplane. And there's a gremlin on the wing.
Really? See, I haven't watched all of the episodes of them, but I've watched quite a bit.
That one, I recommend. It's good.
Really?
But the one you mentioned, The Passersby, that one is a masterclass in a Talking Heads episode. Because, for the most part, it's just a man and woman sitting there talking outside of her house.
No kidding.
They did one episode, and I say this because I went to film school, which it's hit or miss. You either really get a good experience, or you get those people on crew where they're like, "Oh yeah, no,"
or you get those people who think they know it all and then they really don't.
No, but I feel like you walk onto a film set as soon as you leave film school, you learn a very strong lesson in humility and where you really need to focus your education.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not a bad thing.
No.
Both are great ways to network and to learn how to meet new people and how to communicate with new people.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one episode of The Twilight Zone from season 2 that I feel like should be taught in every film school. It's called The Invaders.
I think I remember that one.
And it was this old woman out in the middle of nowhere at her farm. A UFO about the size of a serving tray lands on her roof, and these two little aliens come out and they're starting to attack her because they're about yay big and they're terrified of her. The aliens themselves are very cheesy because it's just two little figures and a Christmas light wired up.
Mm-hmm.
But the performance that she gave, the blocking, the lighting, the set design, it's a masterclass in telling a story without dialogue. Because the only major dialogue in that episode is the introduction by Rod Serling, one phone call from the aliens at the end, and the outro.
Really? Oh, wow.
She doesn't say a single word.
Wow.
And it is phenomenal.
Wow.
It's one of those episodes that you look at and you're like, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And that's, like I said, 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's where I'm like, dude, I can't wait to actually get into your anthology series because you structured it to be somewhat like Twilight Zone, and that's where I'm like, bro, we need the new generation of Twilight Zone to start happening, and so I'm like,
the thing with the Twilight
can't
Zone,
wait.
They tried remaking it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 are decent. I will watch all 3. But each one misses a different aspect of the Twilight Zone that the original had.
Mm-hmm.
The 80s reboot, it was short because they cut the episodes in half and were trying to do 2 episodes per season. 2002 did that also, but they were also relying heavily on like celebrity cameos and lower budget because it was UPN instead of CBS.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2019, Jordan Peele got to do it. If Jordan Peele got a 3rd season, it would have been fine. Because season 1, the messages were a little ham-fisted. They were trying to really hammer home that, oh yeah, no, this is more than just monsters on a plane wing. This is social commentary. And we're going to treat it like social commentary. Which is fine, but you need that extra seasoning. Because that's where the creativity had to happen. Because Twilight Zone came out in 1959. It was still very much like Mayberry television. Everybody had certain things they could do and couldn't do on camera. You couldn't even have a couple sleeping in the same bed back then.
Are you talking about Mayberry as in like the author?
No, Mayberry as in like the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was just very much a, well, golly, gee, Warlickers.
Yeah, so Recently, one of my bosses actually gave me a book by Ray Bradbury.
I love Ray Bradbury.
Dude, and that whole book is just filled with like short stories that are just amazing to
You know
read.
he wrote for the Twilight Zone?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, dude, that explains so much why I was like, this is cool. You know?
He was one of the many authors that were in the Twilight Zone, but the main screenwriter was Rod Serling himself, the host.
Wow.
156 episodes, he wrote 96 of them.
No kidding.
93 to 96 of them.
Bro. So, okay, when would you want to start filming these? Because you've been talking about this series for so long, and I've been so excited because each time I ever read one of them, I was just like, bro, let's film. Let's do it. Let's just run it.
I'm working on it. Right now, I'm just trying to lay out a kind of a game plan for this first vignette. I'm going to be shooting the vignettes in order of lowest to highest budget.
Now, what do you mean by vignettes?
Vignette. Okay, so a vignette, if you have multiple stories in an episode, it's the half of the episode, like a vignette.
Oh, okay. So
And-
quite literally anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought you meant more as like anthology, like per episode is like a whole different story.
No, I wish. I figure if I have 12 stories, the best way to get them is to let those stories breathe with a host in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. Give them their room to shine, and you can still put 2 out, especially because with streaming, you got a lot more leeway in the length of the episode.
Now, when it comes to streaming, how would you want to like actually get those? Are you wanting to get those like on like YouTube? Wanting to get them on like Amazon Prime, Netflix? Like, what's your goal?
Ideally, and I'm thinking realistically, the best I could hope for would be like Shudder.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Shudder is excellent for horror streaming.
Yeah.
They just got the crown jewel of anthology horror on their app. They have Tales from the Crypt now,
Oh.
and they
Yeah,
have,
you were saying that earlier.
and they have the Greg Nicotero Creep Show,
Oh.
which in and of itself is a gem. And that's where I got the idea for 2 stories per episode.
Yeah.
And they did a good job with it. They did an excellent job with it.
I came up with a story, and by all means, you can take it. But if you take it, all I ask is if you let me film it. It's about this. It's kind of like American Psycho meets just like Terrorizer in some sort of sense, right? So you follow this guy. He goes about his work day in the office and stuff like this, but inside he's just emotionally like completely unstable, and everybody around him knows exactly that he's emotionally unstable. So it's filmed almost like The Office, right? That the comedic show, but it plays the show and it plays that way, but then in certain scenarios it goes into more of like the actual cinematography, and it gets real in depth with like the story. And so the story ends up going to he eventually ends up killing somebody. And when he kills somebody, and it came to me oddly enough through a situation I don't really want to talk about on camera, but he had ripped somebody's guts out and he smeared them all over his face, and he was just like loving it, and for whatever reason, right? And like and it just came to my mind, and I was like, so like, this is horrible, this is gross, this could be a crazy story to tell, you know, but told in like in a way that The Office was filmed, you know. And then I don't know if you ever seen that one horror story with like the guy who plays Deadpool.
Oh, Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Bro, I don't know why I just forgot Ryan Reynolds' name, even though I'm like, bro, Ryan Reynolds, love you.
Oh, you're talking about the Amityville Horror.
Kinda, yeah. Where he ended up cutting this chick's heads off, and then she put it in the fridge, and he was like
no, that
talking to
was a
her and
different
stuff
one.
like
He was
that.
in 2 horror movies.
Yeah.
Amityville was good too, though. I recommend it.
Okay. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That
Kind of like that, like psychotic wise, like that character plays like that.
Like a dark comedy.
Yeah. A dark comedy, but extremely gruesome.
You'd like Tales from the Crypt.
I definitely probably would.
The reason why is because it's based on the comics from the 50s.
Yeah.
They brought it up to the 90s. It came out in 1989. HBO had just started. They were trying to push the envelope to see what they can get away with. So there is a lot of intimacy coordination, so to speak. There is a ton of gore, a lot of swearing. But at the core of it, it's still what EC Comics was back in the 50s. Terrible people meeting terrible fates based on their own actions.
Really?
And it was very interesting. and very fun because it's an element of horror that we're missing very heavily here nowadays. Closest, it's whimsical horror.
Mm.
Horror movies have a habit of taking themselves extremely, extremely seriously. And everybody wants to be the next Ari Aster. Everybody wants to be the next, like, what is the name of the gentleman? I just had it. The guy who did Alien recently. It'll come to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you the name.
It'll come to me at the most inopportune time.
Probably later in the episode.
But whimsical horror that doesn't take itself too seriously, is something that we're missing very heavily now. Like the closest thing I've seen was the new movie with Zazie Beetz, They Will Kill You. And it's fun, but it's still a little serious. And I get that people still want to be like scared, but I don't know. I grew up with anthology horror where it was just, all right, here's your creature of the week, here's your lesson of the week. Hey, kick back and watch your anime.
Dude.
And
yeah, that's how a lot of writers and horror films are just coming out nowadays. Like, have you seen Terrorizer?
Terrifier?
Terrifier, yeah. Sorry. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, dude. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, there is a movie, I think, called Terrorizer, but...
Yeah, no, there is. Terrifier, the clown.
I have mixed feelings about Terrifier. The idea, I like it. My only complaint is my complaint with pretty much half the horror movies in the last 30 years. If I had a nickel, or even a penny, for every demon in a horror movie, I'll be able to fund my anthology with Netflix quality.
I mean, I could get Netflix quality for you right now, dude. Let's go. We don't even need it. We just need a bare bones crew. Let's go. Basic lighting. Let's go. Let's do it. You know.
I know.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is, religious horror to me is the laziest kind of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's scared of hell. Everybody's scared of the afterlife in their own way or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when we did that one Afterlife? A short film?
Oh, yeah.
Were you directing for the camera class?
Yeah, it was kind of a fourth wall break.
Yeah, we filmed it on the Ari. Bro, that was so fun. I can't believe they even just let us just take the Ari and just do that.
I also want to point out that it was perfectly coincidental that I wrote a That's All Folks Looney Tunes reference on a whiteboard, and we got to use that.
Yeah, I still have that on my YouTube channel, actually, because it was just so fun to shoot. And I was like, this is great. This is always going to stay on my channel.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have it. I don't care. I'll take it down, whatever you want to do with it. But it was great.
I'd check on the audio, though, because we used 30 seconds of a Black Label Society song.
Yeah.
But you never know. Music rights is a weird thing, especially in film.
Yeah.
But
so if you were to pick your favorite department, other than obviously writing, what would it be?
Oh, locations.
Really? Even after everything that happened with locations?
Especially after everything that happened. Locations is a lot of fun. It teaches you how to communicate with other departments. It teaches you how to navigate creative problem solving. And you get to see some really interesting places even before the crews get there.
How would you find those locations? Because that's something for me, because I shoot a lot of weddings, right? And I do a lot of photography. A lot of my big things is I need locations to shoot. How do the movies do it compared to how I would do it?
Well, the film office always keeps a record of places that are film friendly on their website for locations.
Oh.
They do that. There's also word of mouth. You can talk to your assistant location managers. You can talk to your scouts. And you have your location scouts who go around doing their research and looking for places that are film friendly. They're willing to work with you, or homeowners that are willing to let you in.
Mm-hmm.
And the important thing with working locations is establishing a strong and healthy relationship with not only the person whose house you're in, because you're in somebody else's house. You have to be hospitable and respectful.
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhood around them, because you're literally uprooting a huge chunk of that area.
Yeah.
For up to weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that if they want compensation, that they'll be compensated. If they don't want certain things disturbed, you want to make sure that you can work around it. If you need to plant your base camp somewhere, you have to figure out where is logical, where is not too far out of the way. You have to figure out your restroom situation. You have to figure out the safety of your crew. It's like transpo. Locations is one of the two departments that kind of gets sat on and spat on because most of the time everybody's like, it's just these idiots with the traffic cones. And even then, transpo's like, well, you're not allowed to move those. You're stealing the work.
I mean, half the time I've been able to secure locations that were great, and they were just film friendly, and I would just speak to them and just be like, hey, I can come film here, or can I come film here? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. Like the last 48 hours, dude, I love that location so much.
The place is beautiful.
Sadly, it actually got bought by somebody, and so it's not available anymore. But crazy enough, it was actually bought by some YouTubers.
You know what's funny about that? I was actually there about 7 months ago because there was an indie film being shot over there, and I actually got to deliver some floor mats that were being rented out.
No kidding.
Which is actually very nice because I was like, I was here once. This place is haunted.
In a nightmare of a short film.
And every short film is a nightmare in some respects.
Yeah.
But it's all a lesson. You take things as either a blessing or a lesson.
Yeah.
When you're learning how to work certain departments or how to step into certain roles, and you at an early stage in film, you learn what's good for you, what fits for you, what doesn't.
Yeah, and like back then we were talking about it earlier off camera, but that I really found out that I don't care for directing. I'm more suited for as a DP or cinematographer, whatever you guys want to call it, or as a camera operator, personally, or even as an actual grip or lighting. Personally, I would rather be like more of a lighting director than anything, or working with the DP or being the DP, because I like to control the lighting. I think I'm a stickler for kind of some lighting situations, and I'm decent at lighting. And I've actually lit up stuff, and I've gotten some shots where I was like, I'm gonna use this again,
And the hard part is when you're trying to direct and your focus is cinematography, the art department tends to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard part. It's all a juggling act in the director's chair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, because to me, it's still the most stressful job on the set for that reason. But at the same time, I know that there's people who work below the line that heard that sentence and went,
Probably, yeah.
It's kind of a thing. Every department in film thinks they're the most important department.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're God's gift to film.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I do too. But I mean, it's just a matter of where you're at and working with everybody, making sure you're not an asshole on set, making sure that you're willing to collaborate, to cooperate, and to work with people, because you're all there to do the same job and you're all there to be creative.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Because there's money involved.
Yeah. Or there's reputations involved as well. And
there's
a lot of
in New Mexico especially is a lot of gatekeeping.
Yeah. I mean, we were touching on that topic a little bit earlier too. And, even like where I currently work, it like everything that I've learned, and I've learned a lot. Like I know how to program video walls. I can throw up anything I want on them. I can build them. I can rig them up. I know how to work Resolume. I know how to projection map now. Like I can do some crazy stuff just with live broadcasting or live event for video or visuals, and they never throw me on it. You want to know why? Because the main guy who actually does it gatekeeps the position and then plays favorites, like half of everybody in this town. But I mean, like,
I'm not throwing shade. I'm not going to throw shade. The reason why is because at the end of the day, it's a thing, and it's a thing in any industry, but with New Mexico film specifically, because jobs have fallen so scarce, it's even if you have an issue with somebody, you can't make enemies of them, because it'll affect you long term. And there's such a small world in New Mexico specifically that you can burn as many bridges as you want, but you'll find out real fast that the world is round, and that's hard. Yeah. So just don't burn bridges.
Yeah, I try not to, honestly. It's a lot easier said than done.
It is.
Because
because some people do hold grudges. Some people are a little petty about things. I myself have my own issues with certain people that I don't want to bring up or like throw gas on the fire.
And a lot of the issues that I have with a lot of the other people that we worked with in the past.
But at the end of the day, those people, they're not signing my checks at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's 7.5 billion people on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
This is one less I have to care about the opinion of right now.
Yeah.
And there's an important lesson that I learned a long time ago, and I learned from a locations manager who I'm still very grateful for, because she gave me a huge break in film. And it was to never take advice from people, or never take criticism from people you would never take advice from. And I think that's excellent.
No, that's a great one. I love that, actually.
Yeah,
You know.
because at the end of the day, you're trying to do your best.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing your best and you're working with people and you're just playing your part, your best is enough. And at the end of the day, your best is enough regardless.
Yeah. And back then, I think, a lot of it had to do with I was trying my best, but other people were not liking that, and they wanted to be better. And so that 48-hour film festival did. And a lot of things go back to that now. I don't know why, because it was just like the pinnacle of where I was getting real high, and then all of a sudden it kind of leveled off, and then gone, everything.
It happens.
But I mean, like lately, I've just been picking it back up, and I've been doing real good, just doing everything on my own. I even compared to back then, I wasn't doing anything like this. I found out that like I love more like social media aspect of things, but I also love being able to tell stories with it. One of my favorite YouTubers, actually, his name is Peter McKinnon. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I've heard the name.
Yeah. So he shoots, actually, oddly enough, with Canons. Peter McKinnon, get it? But he's a great photographer and a storyteller. And the guy can take a photo and tell an entire like mini doc almost. It's all inspirational about that photo and how he took that photo and the journey about that photo and what it meant to him. And I loved it every time. And it's called The Bucket List. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you should definitely give it a watch.
I'll take a look.
It is awesome. And I actually, as somebody who watches film and critiques it and looks at everything, in the middle of him staging, getting the photo for that bucket lot shot, you can see that he's holding his phone and he had the flash on, and he turned the flash on and or took a picture of himself as he's taking a picture of that to give it the effect that he's actually taking the photo, which I thought was great, because a real photo, you're not going to see a flash on the screen illuminating your face. You will never see that, and half the time most people actually look through their viewfinders, if you have a viewfinder. I mean, like I got a camera that I wanted a viewfinder. I wanted something a little bit more hybrid. But that's kind of like more of like the route that I want to start going with a lot of my stuff. And it's not because I don't want to make short films or anything like that. It's because I do want to make short films. It's because I want to start like going out and spreading my wings in other areas other than putting my own crew together again and then having things go downhill, And by all means, dude, I definitely want to do a 48-hour film festival again, but it's going to be a way smaller crew than the original first one, because that one, way too many people, way too many heads. As we spoke earlier, it was too many heads in the pot. Everybody was trying to cook, and there was no way to really do it. And at the end of the day, even when I had my own input on things, people didn't like it. And I was the director. And I was like, whatever. So at the very end of it, I don't know if you remember, but I was just so done with everybody and everybody telling me what to do when I was the one that scored everything for that whole shoot. I did a total of actually how much that whole short actually totaled, like amount for gear, budget, location. It totaled to about $500,000 worth of production value, which was crazy to me. I never even would have imagined that I would have gotten that for that level of work that we did. And it turned into the biggest cringe fest short that I've ever done,
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
It was still fun, though.
It was. Don't get me wrong. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, but it came with a lot of learning, and I think that's where a lot of my experience now kind of stems from, is from that experience.
Yeah. Everything happens as either a blessing or a lesson.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to figure out your voice and your vision for things. And it's hard to see that immediately
And early on, yeah.
Because honestly, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Working on that 48 was interesting.
Yeah.
It was an adventure.
Yeah. But like coming back to now how things are now, I'm like, bro, I just want to get back into storytelling so badly. Yeah. And doing stuff like this, you know, because, you know, now that I hit like 1,000 subscribers, I'm like, you know, it's kind of go time. I have my own LLC now, and I'm like, I want to do these things, and I want to show people really what I can actually do, because I haven't even begun to do those things. You know, I have made stuff on my computer that is so awesome, but I can't post. I can't post any of it. And it's because it's either copyrighted or it was because I filmed it under something else at the time, and I don't want to be associated with that anymore. You know, so because of that, I can't post anything that I've actually really done other than what I've actually really done, you know, which isn't a crazy amount of stuff, but it's a pretty good amount of work that I've still done on my own.
I have a short for the anthology that I do think you'd have fun with.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's I took inspiration from a comic from South Korea. And it's about a man who is a shut-in. He's done absolutely nothing. So it's a one-actor short,
Don't go too much into it. Graze over it.
I think you'll be interested.
Yeah, dude. I would definitely want to take a look at it because, you know, I think, honestly, the best kind of crews are the type of crews that have 1 or 2 camera operators. The cinematographer also plays as the director, you know, or they coincide with the scriptee who should be the director. I think most of the time, whoever is writing it should be the director because it's their vision, it's their story, and they want to be able to tell it right. And then they pick their DP, which I completely understand why you would want somebody else to do DP work and have me work on maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Whatever your feel is, honestly, for it, I'd just be honored to even work on 1, honestly. Yeah. You know,
honestly,
but,
it's nothing against your skills.
Yeah,
it's just I found somebody that I genuinely vibe with as far as like what I'm looking for this anthology, and I'm like,
I see you.
This could be pretty. This could be nasty. Let's do this.
Yeah, but I do like, and it goes back to like when we were first making short films too with all the old crew. You know, it's good to, I like to be able to give people who the opportunity to shine. You know, if they have an interest in something and they have already shown those skills,
let them try.
Let them try, you know? And I mean, I've done it countless times with other people. You know, one of my best friends, Darius, he's been on the podcast in this last episode. You know, he is one of the most musically inclined people. You've met him.
Yeah,
he's
tremendously talented.
Yeah, and the dude is great at film too. Like, but he's never even took a class. Everything that he's learned, he either learned it on his own or through me.
And that's also one of the great ways to do it because, honestly, as long as you have a vision, you can bring it to something.
Yeah.
And as long as you either have a vision, you don't, or you're in search of a vision. And honestly, any of those is fine.
Following your dreams. Or following the vision. Execution of the village.
If you got an idea, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Actually, that's a lie. I know what the worst is that could happen. But, I mean...
The worst is, you know, you get blacklisted and nobody ever wants to work with you ever again.
At any rate, as long as you're bringing something to the table, you can see how it fits.
Yeah. And even if you were to get blacklisted, I mean, if you're talented at what you do, people are still going to pick you back up.
Yeah, but see, that's the hard part, especially working in film, especially upper film, like where you're in the union.
Yeah.
Your reputation is just as important as your vision. And that's a fine line to walk. Because honestly, there's just, you could do something stupid and you'll never live it down.
Yeah. And that's actually why I choose not to actually go into the union, to be honest.
I still see the value in the union. I see a lot of value in the union. The only thing I don't enjoy is that as working locations, working as a PA, I feel like the PAs, it's very divisive a topic on how the union should treat PAs.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do deserve a lot of credit for what they do. They're basically the cells of the body. They deal with pretty much everything. And depending on which department you're working in as a PA, you're more protected than others.
No kidding.
Because working as a locations PA, none of your hours count for shit when joining either the 480, the 600, or the DGA. And that is a scary thing to realize once you realize it. But you're still making money, and you're still making connections, and you're still doing your thing. It's still a blessing because, honestly, working locations, like I said, is still a lot of fun, and it's a great department to work in. And I still haven't met any locations managers that are terrible. Mm-hmm. They're all great. Mm-hmm. But unless you're an assistant locations manager, nothing you do counts towards going into the union. Mm-hmm. And that's rough.
Yeah. And so the only reason why I say I don't want to actually really go into the union anymore, back then I wanted to go into like the 600 and I wanted to start in the 480 or whatever and just kind of work my way up, but and even then I had like a straight shot into the local 600 because I had contacts, and I still have their contacts, and I just choose not to because I don't want to. It's too much work. It's too much outside. It's too much. Well, it's not too much outside. I love being outside. It's too much being away from what I actually want to be doing. And in hindsight, what I actually want to be doing is exactly what we're doing now, is stuff like this. Because later down the road, I find that I actually want to work. Later down the road, I found out that I wanted to work for myself rather than work for the man. And that is something that I stand by even to this day, because if you work for yourself, you can, and you know how to market, you know how to actually be consistent about things. And that's where I'm really starting to try to pick everything up now, is just being as consistent as possible, and turning my channel into a tech review / short film, but also documenting the entire process along the way. Like for your anthology series, if you were to start a YouTube channel and document the entire process as well as showing your actual films, you could, and you're posting them pretty consistently. So like if you were to like start, you have 3 seasons, 12 episodes in each season,
6
right?
episodes, 12 stories.
12 stories, so 6 episodes in each season. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I either want to call them seasons or chapters, depending, because for every 6 episode interval, the host is going to change.
Okay.
And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
One specific thing that, well, not one. There's 2 specific things for my anthology that I really want to showcase and highlight. The first is this anthology is region locked. It is exclusively a New Mexico thing. It is stories that take place in New Mexico that could only be flavored by New Mexico.
Can I still have dibs on the one where they're driving in the car? Is that still on there? No? You got rid of it?
Well, actually,
that was such a good one.
It's not that. That's the first one we're filming.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I've thought about that one for years. I already know how to do it.
That's when I was telling you 90% is going to be poor man's.
Poor man's process?
Yeah. And it's going to be fun.
That one's fair. Yeah. You can do a lot of that with this camera right here, actually, because it's such a wide angle and it works so seamlessly. Like you could rig it up into the car and it does great. And it's actually really good at low light. It does have 10-bit D-Log M recording, which is somewhat pretty flexible in post. And then if you know how to do DaVinci or Premiere, you can denoise and make it look phenomenal, And I don't know. Are you still wanting to do like, what is like your color kind of theory on it?
Okay, hot take. The lighting and everything in the last 20 years has been dog shit. Because they're trying to be so neutral that they can video effects everything. Mm-hmm. You have to plan how your shots look in pre. You have to make sure that your lighting department, you have to make sure your cinematography department, and your art department, especially the one department that everybody doesn't think about on the technical side, is the most important for that. Mm-hmm. Because for my anthology, I'm a child of Rod Serling. I'm a child of The Crypt Keeper. I'm a child of very dynamic looking things. Like back in the 90s, nighttime shots in horror films were blue lit instead of white lit. And it had so much more character. It was so much more moody.
Yeah.
and it was creepy. All the lighting was done on set. Everything was kind of laid out and balanced for those shots first.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody does that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks. I'm looking at everything and I'm like, why is everything so fucking bland?
Mm-hmm.
They're either that or they're underexposed as hell, and you're like,
I can't see what's going on. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
for this anthology specifically, I do want to keep sort of that. I call it comic book style lighting, to where it's very dynamic. You know what your frame's supposed to sit looking like,
Mm-hmm.
and you know where you want your shadows to fall. You know where everything's supposed to sit. And if there's any color, any mood, it's with intent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I totally feel that, dude.
And the colors need to be vibrant, because I'm sick of seeing everything so fucking bland.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen The Devil Wears Prada 2 yet?
I have not. I heard it was pretty decent.
Plot's okay. The color theory is abysmally bland.
Really? For something that's supposed to be about a magazine. It isn't like the movie about the magazine is dying and they're trying to find a way to actually get it back up?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you compare it to the original Devil Wears Prada, which is one of my favorite movies, I actually really love that movie. It's excellent.
It's really good.
I always say that every guy has at least one romantic comedy that they adore.
Yeah.
Mine's 27 Dresses. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, 27 Dresses.
Mine's
is
13 going on 30.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's an iconic movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But
I mean, you got Mark Ruffalo over there doing his best, thriller that he ever got. You know that he actually did that on the fly, on the whim, and she just dragged him on.
Andy Serkis was in that movie too, and he was iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy Serkis is iconic in everything he is.
Oh, yeah.
That man is awesome. He does.
He's
so
a gem,
much.
man. You put him in it, and he's a gem.
But no, I just want to. I want to see movies with some vibrance in it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not talking exactly Technicolor vibrance,
Mise-en-scène.
but I miss when movies had wabi-sabi.
Mm-hmm.
To where it wasn't perfect, but it had a lot of character.
Yeah.
It had a lot of flavor. And it didn't look like everything was coming out of the same production house.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally fair, man. I mean, most things nowadays, they don't hit the same like they used to, and I don't watch too much TV anymore because I've actually been so busy with editing. Like the second I get off of my day job, I go home, I spend what time I can with my wife, my kid, and and then I get to editing, and then I'm editing until I go to sleep, and then half the time I can't even sleep. So I'm up until like 1 or 2 in the morning almost every single night because I get done editing by 12. And then so I relax for another hour or two. And that's why my wife gets mad at me because I binge watch our show and she gets mad.
Honestly, I get it.
Yeah.
I get both sides of the argument there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's quality time. And honestly, with my girlfriend, I kick back and we watch a bunch of shows together too.
Mm-hmm.
I have been blessed and cursed in my relationship because my girlfriend is one of the most amazing people in the world. I love her to death. There's nobody I'd rather spend my time with in all the world. Mm-hmm. Maybe my niece. I do love my niece. She's adorable.
Yeah, she is adorable.
But my girlfriend is, by technical terms, when it comes to horror movies, a weenie. So when I get to enjoy my shows, I have to do it on my own time.
Yeah. Because it's too much for her.
Yeah, she's not a fan of horror in any capacity.
Yeah.
Like, she'll watch maybe one horror movie a year, and the scariest movie she's watched in recent history was the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein.
Really?
And she loved it. It was great.
Yeah. I mean,
High-key recommend.
Yeah, it's not that scary, though.
Exactly.
It's, like, really not that scary.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You get where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a baseline scary, and Goosebumps in the 90s was terrifying to her.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, I used to watch that as a kid and would never even give me nightmares. Although, I mean, some of the monster VFX work.
They were, honestly, that show was fun because they kind of threw everything they could at it to make it stick. Dude. And as cheesy as some of those episodes are, some of them are memorable.
Dude, I wish that...
Whimsical horror.
Yeah, I wish that they would actually bring back some, like... What?
I'm trying to.
Like... What would you even call that? Like props?
Practical effects.
Practical effects, dude.
I
I've,
feel like
I've lost so much of my terminology because I haven't been doing like film. You know, I've been doing my stuff.
I
So
believe in practical effects for 3 reasons. Number 1, you can actually do, like I said, the lighting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, you give your actors something to bounce off of
Mm-hmm.
in person. One of my favorite moments with that was an improvised moment. 2010, they did The Wolfman, right? And they got Benicio del Toro to play him.
Is this the Marvel one?
No.
No, this is not.
That was good though.
That
they
was
did,
good.
No, they didn't tell him what was going to be under the blanket because he was coming to identify his brother's corpse.
Oh yeah.
They ripped that blanket off and scared the crap out of him, and they caught his reaction genuinely.
Yeah.
And it was it was a perfect
Do
reaction.
you remember when we stuck that weenie in the one guy's face? For the first time that we did that short film, and so they were like, yeah, play dead. And as he's
wasn't there
playing
for that
dead,
one.
what? You weren't there? Oh yeah, that was right. You were there for like the first day. You weren't there for the second time that we actually finished that short. So at towards the end, he was playing dead, and his mouth was open, and he was like, this is for the glizzy, and he stuck the hot dog in his mouth. And so we caught his whole live reaction of him, and he did great. It was so good too because he stayed dead. But then as soon as we said cut, he's like, what the hell? What was that? Why'd you guys stick a hot dog in my mouth? You guys stuck the glizzy there? Dude, that made me die. I remember filming the BTS for a lot of that stuff, and then we handed it over to the other guy. And that stuff was just so good, man. It was so good. It was so fun.
One of my favorite, another really good reaction and I'm jumping back to horror really quickly.
Yeah.
The first season of American Horror Story.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil anything in case you haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen it in the last 20 years, it's kind of your fault. It's like The Sixth Sense. Something happens with Violet, the daughter.
Okay.
She discovers an unfortunate truth about her situation and her family's situation in that house. And when she discovers this truth, they didn't tell her what she was going to be seeing, and she saw it firsthand. And it made Taysa Farmiga cry.
No kidding.
It was a genuine reaction. She was horrified.
Oh, wow.
And I love seeing a genuine reaction on screen. I'm not going to Stanley Kubrick somebody because that's awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I hate doing that.
No, that man made Shelley Duvall take 127 takes.
No kidding. Are you serious?
He's the reason she quit acting.
Wow.
He was awful to her.
Wow. That is insane, man.
Yeah. And it was a lot.
I wonder how much that costed him at the end of the day.
I really don't want to know.
Yeah. I mean, 127 takes. I mean, that's like what? Almost at least 24 hours worth of filming right there. At least.
He was not kind to her for that, but he wanted her to be frazzled, and that's why. And there's better ways to go about it.
Yeah, no. I mean, dude, there's better
Healthier
ways.
ways to go
Yeah,
about it.
there's better ways to go about everything in terms of film. You know, going back to like working with the right people, you know, when you find the right people, you can make really good things, and it's fun time on set, you know. But
at the same time, you can still have a fun time on set.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're working for free, you still have to treat it with a little bit of respect.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to kind of you remember you're there to help create.
Mm-hmm.
And while you may not be getting paid, at least hopefully somebody's feeding you ridiculously well, or they're at least very appreciative or giving you gas money for the time you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's all said and done, this is somebody who can come back and help you long term.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to step on anybody's toes, because the toes you step on the way up are connected to the asses you have to kiss on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never fun.
All right. I mean, we could probably end the episode here. We've already been talking for about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so, I mean, we can do more. We can
long
always
story
do more.
short, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, always.
And if you have an idea, put it on the table. The worst that can happen is somebody says no.
Yeah. And if you can't find a crew, just start doing it. Find whoever's willing to help you, even if it's just one other person, and just start doing it.
Just make shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Make
Cool.
shit and treat people right.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for this episode's The Booth podcast. I want to say thank you, Jerome, for actually coming on, dude. It has been such a great pleasure. I want you to come back on again so we could just talk about film and just everything, whatever we end up talking about, dude. I love talking with you. I mean, I think we carry an awesome conversation no matter what we end up talking about. So,
Oh yeah.
you guys have a great one. We'll catch you guys later.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
What he said.